let me ask you something. Have you ever felt smaller than you truly are? As if no matter how much progress you make, there is always someone nearby quietly trying to hold you back. It might come in the form of subtle remarks, disguised concern, or constant reminders of who you used to be. It may seem small, but it can have a deep impact. It can make you question your growth, your achievements, even your worth. Maya Angelou, a woman known for her strength and wisdom, once said, "You can't control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. You may not be able to control every situation or person around you, but you do have the power to choose how you respond. You have the power to decide that you will not be reduced." In this video, I want to show you 7 signs that people may be trying to reduce you, and how you can stand firm and refuse to let that happen. Because your light was never meant to fade for anyone. Let us begin. Sometimes, the most damaging words do not come as insults. They come wrapped in what appears to be care. Someone says, "I am just worried you might be aiming too high." Or, "I only say this because I care, but maybe you should not expect too much from yourself." At first, it sounds considerate, even supportive. But if you listen closely, their so-called concern is not meant to uplift you. It is meant to quietly plant doubt. They question your abilities, your decisions, or your goals, all under the disguise of caring for your well-being. This kind of subtle discouragement can be difficult to recognize. It often comes from people you know well, friends, family, even colleagues. They make you question your confidence, your plans, and your worth, all while claiming they have your best interests at heart. But their words reveal more about their limitations than yours. They may feel uncomfortable with your ambition or your potential. So, rather than admitting their own doubts, they project them onto you through carefully chosen words. How do you refuse to be reduced by this? You stay grounded in your vision. You remind yourself that your dreams are not reckless, they are necessary. You are not here to meet anyone else's comfort level. You are here to pursue what you believe is possible. True concern supports your growth. It does not ask you to shrink. Genuine care encourages your courage. It does not question it. You must be able to tell the difference. Let people express their concerns, but never allow their doubts to become your limitations. However, there is a certain kind of person who cannot stop bringing up your past. They remind you of your mistakes, your missteps, or the version of you that struggled the most. They say things like, "Remember when you couldn't get anything right?" Or, "You've changed so much, I barely recognize you." At first, it might seem like harmless nostalgia or an awkward attempt at connection. But over time, you begin to notice a pattern. They are not bringing up your past to celebrate how far you have come. They are doing it to keep you tied to a version of yourself that no longer exists. This is not about your history. It is about their discomfort with your growth. Your transformation challenges them. It forces them to confront their own lack of progress. And rather than rising with you, they try to pull you back down into what is familiar and safe for them. It is painful when people you know cannot see who you have become, only who you used to be. But their limited perspective does not define your present, and it certainly does not dictate your future. So, how do you refuse to be reduced by this? You own your evolution without apology. You acknowledge your past, but you do not live there. You are not ashamed of the person you once were, but you are not required to remain that person for anyone's comfort. Let others reread the earlier chapters if they want to. But you have every right to keep writing new ones. You have the freedom to grow, to become, and to move forward with purpose. Your progress is not a problem to solve. It is a story unfolding. Be proud of it. It often starts with a small comment that seems harmless on the surface. You share your excitement, your progress, your hard-earned achievement, and they respond with a smirk or a backhanded remark. That's cute. You started a business? Hope it works out. Or maybe they say, "Oh wow, you got promoted? Must be nice to get lucky like that." These are not innocent words. This is subtle dismissal disguised as sarcasm or playful teasing. The truth behind their words is discomfort. Your success unsettles them. Your growth is a mirror reflecting their own stagnation or unfulfilled dreams. And rather than confront that, they try to shrink your moment. Over time, these comments can chip away at your confidence if you let them. You start questioning whether your progress is worthy of celebration or whether you are being arrogant for feeling proud. But here is the truth. Every step forward you take, no matter how big or small, deserves recognition. So, how do you refuse to be reduced by their belittling? You become your own loudest supporter. Celebrate your milestones boldly, even if they seem small to others. Whether it is a quiet victory or a major breakthrough, clap for yourself. You are not responsible for managing someone else's insecurities by dimming your light. Your achievements are not accidental. They are the result of effort, resilience, and courage. Do not minimize them to make others comfortable. Stand tall in your success. Own your progress with pride. Because you were never meant to shrink to fit into someone else's comfort zone. You were made to grow, to shine, and to inspire. Meanwhile, it is easy to believe that support is always genuine, but sometimes it comes with hidden conditions. You may notice that certain people only show up for you when you are at your lowest. They are present when you are struggling, uncertain, or in pain. They offer advice, sympathy, and encouragement while you are down. But when you begin to rise, they quietly disappear. At first, it seems confusing. You assume they care, that they want the best for you. But with time, their pattern becomes clear. Their support is not rooted in wanting you to thrive. It is rooted in feeling needed, in maintaining a dynamic where they are the helper, and you are the one who struggles. Your struggle makes them feel valuable. Your success makes them feel exposed. When you start to grow, achieve, or stand in your confidence, their energy shifts. They become distant, indifferent, or even resentful. The applause fades the moment you begin to thrive beyond their expectations. It is a painful realization, but an important one. You deserve relationships that celebrate your strength just as much as your vulnerability. True support does not vanish when you succeed. Genuine people cheer for your rise and take pride in watching you evolve. So, how do you refuse to be reduced by those who only show up for your struggle? You pay close attention to the patterns. You notice who claps only when you are crawling and who stands beside you when you soar. You create space for relationships that celebrate your growth, not just your hardship. You are worthy of love, encouragement, and support that exists at every stage of your journey. Do not keep people close who are only comfortable when you are small. You are not here to live at rock bottom for anyone's comfort. You are here to rise again and again. In certain moments, the people closest to you will use guilt as a way to control your growth. it does not always sound harsh or obvious. Often, it arrives in subtle comments designed to make you question your progress. You hear things like, "You have changed," "You do not have time for your real friends anymore," or "You are forgetting where you came from." At first, these words sound like concern or disappointment, but beneath them lies something else. It is an attempt to pull you back. Guilt becomes their leash. It tugs at your loyalty. It questions your new priorities. It pressures you to shrink your world to fit their expectations. The truth is, growth naturally changes your relationships, your routines, and your time. You cannot evolve and stay exactly the same. But some people struggle with your progress because it challenges their comfort. Rather than confronting their own discomfort, they wrap it in guilt and hand it to you like a leash, hoping you will hold on. If you are not careful, guilt can become a chain that keeps you from stepping into your next chapter. You begin to feel responsible for other people's emotions, their insecurities, and their fears about your evolution. So, how do you refuse to be reduced by this? You let go of the leash. You remind yourself that personal growth requires boundaries, not permission. You can care for others, but you are not obligated to carry their discomfort on your back. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to grow beyond the familiar. You can love people without sacrificing your progress. Those who truly value you will adjust to your growth, not resent it. Guilt is not love. Growth is not betrayal. You are not required to stay small for anyone's peace of mind. You are not born to remain at the bottom. Rise and rise unapologetically. Nonetheless, there are moments when no matter how hard you work, certain people act as if they cannot see your progress. You show up, you put in the effort, you stay disciplined, yet your growth remains invisible to them. It is not that they are unaware. It is that they choose not to see it. Their silence is deliberate. Recognizing your progress would mean admitting that you are evolving. It would mean facing the reality that you are no longer easy to diminish. As long as they pretend nothing has changed, they believe they can keep you small in their mind and in their words. This type of subtle dismissal can be frustrating, especially when it comes from people you care about. It makes you question whether your hard work is being seen at all. But here is the truth. Your growth does not require their approval to be valid. How do you refuse to be reduced by this? You learn to validate yourself. Let your reflection remind you of how far you have come. Let your peace, your progress, and your personal victories speak for themselves. You are not working for applause. You are evolving for your own purpose. Their refusal to acknowledge your growth is not a measure of your worth. It is a reflection of their limitations. You deserve to be seen. But even when others refuse to look, never stop becoming who you are meant to be. There are few things more unsettling than being told your feelings are wrong. You express how you feel, and instead of being heard, you are met with lines like, "You are overreacting," or "Why are you so sensitive?" At first, you might second-guess yourself. You wonder if you really did exaggerate, or if your emotions are unjustified. But over time, this pattern reveals itself for what it truly is. This is not simple misunderstanding. It is manipulation. It is a calculated effort to make you question your own reality, your own experiences, and your right to feel what you feel. Gaslighting is one of the most subtle yet damaging ways people reduce others. By making you doubt your emotions, they gain the upper hand. They rewrite the story to make themselves seem reasonable and to make you seem irrational. This tactic is not just dismissive, it is dangerous. Over time, it chips away at your self-trust. You stop standing up for your boundaries, you silence your instincts. And the more you allow this cycle, the easier it becomes for others to control your narrative. So, how do you refuse to be reduced by this? You stand firm in your truth. You remind yourself that your emotions are not a problem to fix. They are signals. They are valid. You do not owe anyone silence to maintain their comfort. You do not have to water down your feelings to fit someone else's version of reality. Gaslighters thrive when you question yourself, but their power diminishes the moment you choose to believe in your own experiences. You are allowed to feel, to speak, and to stand by your emotions without apology. You rewrite your own narrative by trusting your voice, not theirs. The simple truth is you cannot always stop people from trying to reduce you. Some will question your confidence, downplay your growth, or challenge your worth. Often, your expansion makes them uncomfortable because it forces them to confront their own limits. Your progress shakes the space they have grown used to. But like Maya Angelou so powerfully said, you can decide not to be reduced. You have the choice to rise, to evolve, to protect your peace, and to be unapologetic about the person you are becoming. Your growth does not need anyone's approval to be valid. You are allowed to walk taller, speak louder, and own your space without hesitation. So I want to ask you, have you noticed these signs showing up in your life? Has someone tried to shrink your confidence, your ambition, or your evolution? And more importantly, how are you choosing to refuse being reduced? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might remind someone else that they are not alone in what they are facing. Your light was never meant to fit inside small spaces. Let them adjust if they must, or let them watch from a distance. But you keep rising.